Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paper boy, evening TV. You miss your old familiar friends, but waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a look of somebody who needs you.
Hi, my name is Colby Smolmer, and me, Derek Gassetti, and Tyler Greaves are going to find out if students are stressed out in school. Let's go! We created a survey and sent it out to all 7 through 12 grade students, and it asked if school made them feel stressed. We got 48.5% saying very, 31.3% saying moderately, and 16.4% saying a little. We only got 4 responses saying not at all. So we can gather from this that students are indeed stressed out, and school is causing most of this. At the other end of the spectrum, about 25% of U.S. students tested in the lowest levels of math proficiency, more than the OECD average. This statistic has not changed since 2003. So good job. And anxiety has been increasing. The average high school student today has the same level of anxiety as the average psychiatric patient in the 1950s. We are getting more anxious every decade. Psychologists have speculated about the possible reasons for this increase in both anxiety and depression over the last 50 years.
These are their stories.
Sophie, are you stressed?
Yes.
What stresses you out?
Schoolwork.
Is there anything you'd change about your school?
I would like more individual help.
And do you feel that standardized tests properly measure student success in school?
No.
Thank you. Are you stressed out?
A little bit.
What stresses you out?
Maybe my awful procrastination leading to writing a whole paper in like an hour.
Do you think the amount of work has anything to do with that?
It's kind of my fault.
It's the amount of work. Is there anything you would change about the school you're in?
Put it in Oakcrest to have parking. School board kind of screwed that one up.
Do you feel standardized tests properly measure a student's success in school?
One test does not define you.
Thank you, Nate.
Nope.
Do you feel stressed?
Yes.
Is there anything you would change about the school you are attending?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, sometimes the teachers are crabby and we get too much homework.
Do you feel that standardized tests properly measure student success in school?
No, because you just memorize something for a day and then you forget it the next day. So it's pretty much worthless. Busy work.
That's true. What is the main thing about high school that stresses you out?
Well, we come here for like 6 hours, and then we only have a few hours left in the day to work, have free time, do sports. But then they give us a few hours of homework too. Just doesn't really make any sense.
Hey, Jonah, are you stressed?
Very.
What stresses you out?
School and the responsibility, man.
Yeah. Is there anything you would change about the school you're in?
If I could turn back time to the good old days, stress out.
Do you feel standardized tests properly measure a student's worth?
No, I am not a number.
Thank you. Thank you.
One test does not define you.
Are you stressed?
Not really.
Why?
I just don't really let it bug me. You know, living life.
Is there anything that you would change about the school you're attending?
Yeah, I just wish Mr. Wellner wasn't always so mean to me.
That's it?
I mean, right now I can't think of anything else.
Do you feel that standardized tests?
Wait.
Well, okay.
I want to
all
change
right.
lunches. Lunches suck here. I always leave and it's expensive. Okay, go on.
Okay, so lunches.
Yep.
Do you feel that standardized tests properly measure student success in school?
Kind of. I think it's depends on the person. Like for me, I'm good at them, so yeah.
What is the main thing about high school that stresses you out?
Probably homework. I don't know.
The test, administered every 3 years by the OECD, is designed to measure whether students can apply what they've learned in school to real-life problems. Approximately 510,000 15-year-olds in public and private schools took the paper and pencil exam in the fall of 2012. On the math portion, 29 countries tested better than the United States. Aside from the Asia powerhouses of Shanghai, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taipei, Korea, and Japan, the U.S. was outscored by European countries, including Latvia, Britain, Poland, France, Germany, and Slovenia. In science, 22 countries posted better results than the United States, including Vietnam, Canada, Poland, and Taipei. In reading, 19 countries had a higher score than the U.S., including Estonia and Liechtenstein. 3 states, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Florida, had students take the test to see how they compared internationally. They didn't do so hot.
A normal workload, and I think some students are, I can see a spot where some students are really stressed out, and I think that depends on each student's mental health capabilities as well.
Alright. What do you think the main cause of stress in students is?
I think that students have more responsibilities, more pressures placed on them than ever before. 15 years ago, it was just get good grades to get into a good college. I never really worried about paying for college. It wasn't that big of an issue for me. I had figured that I could pay with loans or pay through summer stuff and maybe have loans, but it wouldn't be unmanageable. And I think that was a lot of things for my people in my age group, and now students have more, I think they just have the added pressure of having to figure out how to pay for college so they're not burdened with debt, large amounts of debt afterwards.
Is there anything that you assign the students that you believe causes them extra stress?
Well, I think it depends again on each student. Each individual assignment is, I think if you give a student a big assignment, a big project, it would cause stress for them because they have to deal with that and they have to do it. Whether how they deal with it and how it affects their stress level depends on each person and how hard they work and their self-discipline and things like that. But certainly I would imagine that all papers or major tests, especially as we move into the college portion, would increase students' stress level.
Is there anything that you think could help improve student stress levels?
I think turning off all devices while the students work. I think students are distracted which causes the tasks to increase and to overload them, and then they get super stressed out and can't deal with it. But if they had spent less time on texting, Snapchatting, watching Netflix, those types of things, then perhaps that they would be more able to deal with their time. So I think getting better time management skills and self-discipline skills would be a way to reduce students' stress levels.
So like if we taught Ramp Up in a way that actually taught students how to deal with stuff, that might help? Like if Ramp Up worked?
I think Ramp Up, you get out of what you put into it. I don't know if you can teach necessarily time management. I think it's more like I think using Ramp Up and things like that, it's almost like forced therapy, a little bit like forced rehabilitation, where if someone tells you that you have to go to therapy or go to counseling or things like that, then it might not be as effective as someone who goes there on their own. So I think having maybe options for people who just say, I'm stressed, what are the ways to deal with that, and having counselors available or teachers available to be able to help students with those skills would be more effective.
All right, last question. Do you feel that standardized tests properly measure students' ability to learn?
No. I mean, that's a for sure no with the question that you asked. With the ability to learn, I don't think tests measure what your ability to learn is. Tests might have measured what you've learned. For some students, certainly not the ability, because some people do very well on tests and some people don't do very well on tests, but they have different ability levels. But what you learn, tests can measure that. It's a good benchmark, whether we use it as a high stakes test to whether you pass that class. I don't think that's necessarily, but a test can measure what they've learned at that moment in time. So, but there has to be all kinds of other factors involved into seeing what they've learned as well, and different types of assessment.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anything you assign to students that makes them have extra stress? You think like anything in particular?
I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary, no.
Do you think just homework in general in every class?
I would say, yeah. I think when it all adds up, all the readings and the papers and the projects and stuff, that's why I try to give kids class in time to work. Whether they use it, that's another thing, but.
Is there anything to change? Anything we can change to improve students' learning experiences?
It's a deep question. I don't know. I would need to think about that one more. Part of it is, and I've had conversations about this before, whenever you're trying to make a big change like that, especially in education and school, I guess if we're kind of focusing on that aspect of it, we've been set in our ways for so long that any sort of a change it's going to take time, and people are not going to be open to it because they've done it this way for how long, and we almost deemed it as good enough when we should maybe look at doing some things different. And we've got some teachers here that are doing some things different that I think is good. From a lowering stress level aspect of it, I don't know. I hear kids complain about homework all the time, which, there's always going to be something like that, but I think if we can maybe shift some of that around a little bit, I think that would help.
And do you feel that standardized tests properly measure students' success in school?
Short answer, I would say no. I think there needs to be some sort of incentive to push some students to do a little better than maybe they are. When I see kids done in 10, 15 minutes, and then some kids are taking 3 days, it's like, hey, is that a proper measure of what that person knows? I don't know, but I'm not saying we need to get rid of them either.
All right.
Thank
you. Thank you for allowing us to interview you on this.
No problem.
On this journey, we learned that students are in fact very much stressed out, and the teachers see this as a major problem too. I'd like to thank you, for me, Derek, and Tyler, for taking this magical journey with us. Son of a dick! Are students stressed out in school? Do teachers agree with that? They are. Now, fucking redo it. Hi, my name is Colby Spomer, and me, Derek Cassetti, and Tyler Greaves are going to find out if students are indeed stressed out in school, and if teachers think...
Recording?
Okay.
Put that in.
Are you stressed out?
Not really.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't let it bother me, you know?
You prick.
I just don't let it... Whoa!